It's game day, Eagles Nation. It's Giants, it's Eagles, it's division rivals. It's Thursday night football. Shout out to Luz for the brand new intro. And it's another day, Saquon's homecoming again, where we can thank the Giants for giving us him. Here you go, Jake. The Giants. This is for y'all.
How long that last? The whole game? I'm gonna shut him up. Now let me give him something to actually bull about.
I don't reach niggas even wanna boss up. Get a nigga whack, I ain't got play tough. Used to be rich, but you
know when they did it? When you tucked over on the damn sideline and kept going?
gotta catch up. The hoe probably fucked every nigga with some much. I still in the hood, post up with the junk. You never going back to the hood, stop running. I told her I know and she tell me she love me. Nigga touch me on the spot, I'm a bust. Somebody lean in my pocket.
You a low ass boy. I'm in the end zone, you a low ass boy. Ha ha ha, get your ass up. Get your ass up. Come on, baby. Come on, baby. Come on, baby.
I'm scuba in it. Car on my glass like substitute teacher. Job I ain't need to make hate me leave. Rockin' the man got a patch to see. I'm classy, I'm sipping and raising my pink. My bitch super bad, her feet ain't pretty. The real niggas dying, they tryna extinct. If I had a out, they be finding them stink.
If I had $1 for every faithful bitch in the world, my account would be empty. She gave me head, my wrist on the presidential, giving me mine low instant.
I talked a little more crap this week, because I'm literally playing some of my friends.
How about our quarterback? How about our quarterback? I'm your quarterback. He's a stud. He is a stud. I knew he was going to play that way. I knew it. Don't doubt him. All he does
I'm
is
bird
win.
gang 31 and I'm fly like an eagle. Hit him low, hit him high like the Eagles. We on a podcast and we only talking Eagles. Dallas still sucks and ain't nothing like the Eagles. I'm one O-line, Jalen Hurts top 5. Run it like Saquon, like I'm down Queen. Always open AJ, touchdown, say. Strap him up like the Jean, sack him up, Zach Bond. On the road to victory, yeah. We gon' run your Eagles spot. Hit him low, hit him high. Hit him low, hit him low, hit him high. We gon' hit him low, hit him low, hit him high. We gon' hit him low, hit him high. We gon' hit him low, hit him high. Bird gang 31 is a host, man. Bringing Eagles to your door like the postman. Make some noise if you a real Birds fan. Make some noise if you a real Hurts fan. Yeah.
What is up, Eagles Nation? How was everybody doing today? Hit that like, hit that subscribe, and share this content out to everybody. Today is Thursday night football, Eagles-Giants division rivalry game. And I had to bring my boy the Hub up in the building, Giants creator, to come talk some pregame show. How you doing today, Hub?
Hey man, listen, I'm doing good. It's always a good day when it's NFL Sunday. In this case, NFL Thursday. Shout out to everybody in the chat. I know y'all are my enemy, but thank y'all for having me. Not the first time here, certainly won't be the last.
So how you been, my guy? Because I know I played the, Saquon clip, before I get to your new squad. How do you feeling now? We're back-to-back years. You guys give away your star players, and they start balling. Daniel Jones is looking like the MVP over there in Indy, and Saquon was the man of the year last year.
I will have one contention with the back-to-back star players. I love that the NFL and NFL fans are rewriting history, acting as if Daniel Jones was a star with us when he was here. If there was one thing the Giants were clowned about, is that they hold on to him for too long. But I will say I'm not surprised that DJ is doing well over in Indy. In 2022, which was his best year here with us, was the year that we had the best supporting cast around him in Indianapolis. They have a great offensive line. They have one of the best running backs in the league. The wide receiver core is all right, but that defense has slowly been built over the past couple of years. How do I feel about it? That's a different question. Of course, I feel terrible. It seems like, listen, I'm going to be a Giants fan through and through. I bleed big blue. But it seems like over the past decade or so, no matter what they do, it's just it lands. It ends up with them landing on their face. But this right here, Thursday night. Listen, I'm gonna keep it real with you. The Eagles are the one team of the NFC East rivalries that I hate the most. It's no secret amongst subscribers of my channel. The Cowboys, they're just fun to clown. And honestly, they've been fun to watch. You
Me
know, shout out
too.
to what Dak is doing over there. I really never held any love for the Redskins. They were always just sort of the other team, and then now, they're good with Daniels. But the Eagles, something about the Eagles just always got under my skin, man. And then they go out there, they get Saquon, which was a homecoming for him because he's originally from the Philly area. And then, he goes out there, he has, MVP caliber season, basically was the engine of that offense why you guys won. And I'm just like, damn. Can I believe it? Yeah. Do I hate it? Absolutely. Like, what the hell are we talking about? Listen, and then, yo, they're releasing his documentary tonight too, right before the game. They know what they're doing.
They know what they're doing.
Amazon knows what they're doing. This whole thing. Listen, we can get into specifically Saquon if you want to get into specifically Saquon because that man, ooh, Saquon, you pissing me off, bro. I'm not gonna lie, but that's how I've been.
That's how you been. That's understandable. That's understandable. But before we get into, you guys had a big win like last week, right, against the Chargers. So before we get into it, let's show some clips of your team so maybe you can feel a little bit more confident about the situation.
Smith and Brown in a game. That was a new Eagles record. Now Jones down 14 and down with another sack.
Oh, that was the
Daniel
wrong clip.
Jones.
My bad. I downloaded the wrong Giants clip. Okay, well, it's not on there. I'm trying to give you guys some love because I had a whole little Giants spiel here that was going to show all the new Giants on there. And I don't think that was it. But anyways, you got a new quarterback.
I thought you were trolling me for a second. I was like, this man's trolling me, man.
No, it was a Jackson Dart one I had, but I was rushing. I was working today, and I think I uploaded the wrong one on here. So, but anyways, you know what I'm saying? Jackson Dart took over. Give me your take on Jackson Dart so far out of one game, seeing him play. Do you think it was the right time to make the move, or do you think you should have held on to Russ for a little bit longer?
So with Jackson Dart, he did get 2 stars because we played the Saints last week and fell flat on our face. We had a 14-point lead and then we blew it. But the week before we had the Chargers. I was actually at that game and it was a good win. I think the move to start Jackson Dart, I think they should have waited longer. I don't think that they could have waited longer, but I do think they should have waited longer. Dart is a quarterback that I think the longer he sits, the more he learns from veterans, the better it would be for him. He's not somebody that's like you just ready right out the gate. He needs a little bit of time to marinate, a little bit of time to bake. He's all right out the gate, but he's not what you want your immediate franchise quarterback to be out the gate. There's very, very few players that are that. And time
Right.
again in the NFL, we see more examples of quarterbacks that sit and learn prospering than we do quarterbacks that come right out the gate and our star QBs. I really wish the Giants went the best route you could go, in my opinion, is the Green Bay route. Obviously, not every team can
Oh
sit their
no.
franchise quarterback for like 2 to 3 years because they don't
Right.
have another Hall of Fame quarterback ahead of them. But I'm always of the philosophy of sit them as long as possible. But also, like I said, I don't think they could have sat him longer because Russ, after what was a great week 2 against the Cowboys, followed up by literally what was unfortunately now the game that Russell Wilson plays. It's really sad because he was one of my favorite players when he was in Seattle. He was so good dynamic, but I guess father time comes first all. He's not what he used to be. And then you combine that, he had a showing. Who do we play week 3? I think it was the Chiefs, against the Chiefs, where a lot of times he was the reason that the offense was failing, and that's why you sit somebody. You don't sit them if the pieces around them are failing. You sit them if they themselves are failing. Russ was taking
Right.
sacks that he wasn't supposed to take. He refused to throw down the middle of the field. He actually had zero, and I mean zero targets to anywhere in between the numbers. He only threw to the sideline, which, Russ, you're not in your prime anymore. It's probably not going to work out as best as you would think. But that's why I think that they couldn't have waited more. I still think I'm one of the only Giants fans I feel like that feels this way. I still think we should throw in Jameis before we throw in Dart. I'm a big
Right.
fan of Jameis Winston. I freaking love Jameis Winston. And Jameis is somebody who's not afraid to sling the rock. He's not going to take a sack. He's going to throw an interception before he takes a sack. And I actually prefer that. I prefer a very aggressive QB, somebody that is going to try and get it to their receivers. But we are where we are. He had a good start. I'll say that. Dart against the Chargers. He made all the right decisions, but they schemed and scripted him so that he wouldn't make a mistake. In week 2 against the Saints, the first half, it was the same thing. Like I said, we had like a 14-3 lead, I think, at halftime before they choked and collapsed. In the second half, where they got behind now and he started making mistakes. That's where you saw him as a rookie quarterback. You saw him making the wrong reads. You see him doing foolish things. One of his interceptions, he's thrown across your body. while getting sacked. That's like the perfect recipe to throw an interception. He started making all those rookie mistakes. I'm not out on him. I'm not hyping him up to the nth degree. I'm just like, yeah, he's a rookie quarterback doing rookie things. It is what it is.
Nice, nice, nice. Like you said, he is a rookie. We will see tonight with a Vic Fangio, scheming up against him. I always think, whenever Eagles, doesn't seem like it matters which quarterback they have, but when they go against them rookie quarterbacks, they kind of can do a good job with him. But he does have athleticism, and we have kind of struggled a little bit for those quarterbacks that can run the football a little bit. So we shall see what's up with the quarterback. Let's talk about your offensive running back position here. You know what I'm saying? I heard you guys get Tracy back tonight. Scatterboo's been playing good, and then Singleton's still back there. How do you think that's going to figure out now that Tracy's back?
Can I ask you a real quick question first? Because you brought up something very interesting that I didn't realize, because I'm not watching Eagles game weekly, obviously. You said you guys were struggling with athletic quarterbacks. This year, like, who really has given you guys trouble this year so far that you played?
In terms of running wise?
Yeah, with the athleticism.
The Tampa Bay game, Baker went off a couple of times. The Kansas City Chiefs game, Patty Mahomes does this little double pump scramble thing on us a little bit. You know what I'm saying? But you just look at the teams we play. We played all good teams for the most part. We got the Cowboys, Chiefs, Tampa Bay. We played who else we played again?
Denver, right? I mean, Denver was
Denver just won us. So, you have Bo Nix out there. He made a couple of scrambles on it. It's not like they're like Mark Jackson on us getting massive yards, but it's just like, when you got third down, you got crucial downs, they're starting to they got enough athleticism to go out there and get that first down. And we kind of been struggling with the run game as a whole, you know what I'm saying? It's no secret our team is not doing good in stats department in terms of stopping the run. I think we're giving up like 130, 140, something like that, a game in terms of running backs and the quarterback, obviously, in that matter. And then, offensively, we're not doing nothing nowhere. So, in terms of that, what I'm saying, like any young quarterback that I think out there that has some athleticism, there are creases to hit. And we got to clean that stuff up. We got some good linebackers. We get Nakobe Dean back today.
I mean, you guys have one of the most talented rosters in the NFL, period. That's just a fact.
And the youngest, too.
I'm very surprised to hear that you're struggling statistically, not just on the offensive side of the ball, because that's when the media blows up. I didn't realize on the defensive end, that's what it's been looking like as well, hearing that you guys are struggling with the run and stuff. I guess I don't mean to get too far away from your question, and I will answer it, I promise. But the next thing that comes into my mind is, do you believe that's something that could actually, the straw that breaks the camel's back? Do you believe that's actually going to be a real big problem for you guys?
Moving forward, no. Like I said, I'm one of the types that when you don't play in the preseason, you know what I'm saying, there's no joint practice that can simulate the game. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's like, you go physical and joint practice. No, joint practice, you're going physical against another opponent, but it's all schemed. You're not really counting yards. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like a practice with your team, full padded practice with your team.
Yeah.
So I don't really think that's good enough. The last couple of years you started to see we don't really click until now, till about week 6. You know what I'm saying? Last year, 2-2, bye, had the conversation, clicking. You know what I'm saying? And then also Nakobe Dean was a really big piece to stop it around last year. We have not had him. Yes, we have a star in Jahad Campbell, who I love. And, it's like now you got a big problem here. Who are you going to sit? How are you going to work this rotation out? Now you got a guy like Dean's coming back today. He's not going to get a full workload, obviously, but he is more of your run stuff and linebacker. I think Campbell's so great because he's like another Bond. They're coverage linebackers. They can go side to side. They can cover tight ends. They can cover, slots and stuff like that. So that's what really makes him so great. And that's what we're starting to see, with Campbell. But Nakobe Dean's old school thugger. You know what I'm saying? He can go thump the hole, fill that hole with hit the running back, behind the line type linebacker. We like to blitz him a lot up the A gap. So, having him back, we'll see, because I figure there's no way you could take Campbell out of the lineup. There's no way you can take Bond out of the lineup. You know what I'm saying? How is Nakobe going to get on the field? And that is his one key to becoming our starter and getting back to his starting role, is if he comes in here, he fills those holes, and he shows that he can be a different linebacker than a Zach Bond, because Zach Bond's great, but like I said, he's more of your cover linebacker. He's not your, downhill, thumper like that. So, and then maybe you can move Campbell over to, do like we did last year, run a little bit more of the 5-2, where you got the two backers and then drop Campbell down on the line. Vic Fangio really loves, you know, ends that can drop back in coverage. You know what I'm saying? That can still cover from the end position, so you never know what he's going to do. Is he rushing this down? Is he dropping back this down? And I think you move a guy. You look at our depth at the ends right now. You got everybody hurt right now. Everybody's either on IR or
Do you guys
hurting
have
right.
Jalen Carter this game? I saw somebody in the chat
Yeah,
say that
Jalen
he's a
Carter's going to be
guard.
out this game too, so that's another big deal there too. He's like having JC out, but you put him on the end, you run the 5-2, you let him roll. You know what I'm saying? Without Jordan Davis been playing great this year. He's been doing his job, but it's like, he's getting double teamed too on the running game. He's a big guy. They're going to double team him to move him out of the hole.
Yeah,
He's had a shoulder injury for like 2 games now. So it's like, he's good. I think he's still got the highest pass percentage rate, out of all the DTs out there. But he's not holding up on the run as well as you probably should. When you got a hurt
yeah,
shoulder, you got to kind of let that go a little bit. So I don't know. The
yeah.
Eagles
So
might have to make a move before the trading deadline if things don't get better with that. But do I think it can be stopped? Yes, I think these guys are good enough, and I just think, even though it's hard to say, as the season goes along, they'll probably get a little bit more healthier,
hmm
because usually you don't get healthier through the season, but
yeah.
somehow, some way, you got to get these boys healthy and get them
I mean,
back out
also as
there.
the season goes on, you hope that your coaching staff can adjust without even necessarily having to make a move,
Yeah,
roster wise, which is on the front office. This is where and this is why coaching is really determined. Are you a good coach or are you a bad coach? You
facts.
work with what you got. And as much as I hate to say it, Vic Fangio on the defensive side of the ball is one of the best defensive coaches out there. So I think you guys are going to be fine. Going back to the question you asked, we were just talking about your run defense, and you were asking about the Giants running backs and run game. Yeah, I do think we're getting Tracy back. I'm not sure if that's all confirmed or if it's like still a questionable, but I think we're supposed to have him back. And that's gonna do a lot to spell Cam Scadaboo a little bit, who's the rookie running back we got. I think we got him in the fourth or fifth round this year. And he's been good for us. A lot of people look at the
Mhm.
box stats. He's one of the very few players where I'll be like, all right, you can't just look at the stats. You gotta look at the game because I think he's averaging like 3.7 yards per carry. The reason he's
Mhm.
averaging that is because Singletary's washed. All respect to Devin Singletary. He has not been the same since we signed him last year. Like Houston was his last good stint. He came here. He does not have his nickname is Motor Singletary. He does not have that motor anymore, and that's just not all running backs are Saquon Barkley. Not all running backs are Adrian Peterson. When they get a certain age, most of these guys they kind of just they don't have the legs for it anymore, and that's why
Mhm.
Cam Scadaboo's yards per carry stat has looked the way it has because he's the only person they can trust to actually get positive yards with the ball. And so if you're running him constantly right into the middle and right up the middle of the line, he's gonna get stopped a couple of times.
Mhm.
And also the flip side of that is everybody likes Cam Scadaboo. Everybody also knows what he is. Once again, he's not like a Bijan Robinson type back. He's gonna be somebody that's just a good power back to have on your team, and you're gonna need a running back by committee with him. If he's the only person in the running back by committee, that's where the stats are gonna look like where they're at right now. So I'm really happy that we're getting Tyrone Tracy back. He's a really good compliment to Cam. Cam is a guy that's just run up the middle power. Tracy is a guy that's more agile. He does a lot of cuts. He's a very patient runner. Sometimes it goes
Mhm.
to a detriment though. Sometimes he waits a little bit too much, and then no hole opens up, and then it's a loss. Both of them
Mhm.
are good in the receiving game out the backfield as well. Where I am worried, I guess I'm a little bit happy that Jalen Carter is out from the Giants standpoint, but I do know that you guys have other guys there on the line that can close it up. Also, our offensive line finally, knock on wood, I don't want to jinx anything. After like 15 years of trying to build this thing, it looks like it's finally at a spot where it's good again. We just ranked for the first time in God knows how long, top 7 in pass protection. And our run game, the run blocking has been good. It's not has not been as good as the pass protection, but it's been good enough. We've been very successful in running to the left side of the line where Andrew
Mhm.
Thomas is, where since he's been back, he's already been back for 3 games. This year so far, I don't know if you know, man, he's allowed zero pressure, zero QB hits, and he's at almost like 97% pass rush win rate against anybody that comes against him. It's the highest in the NFL. I really think Andrew Thomas is an underrated player in the league. When healthy, he's one of the best tackles in the league. But that's also why when we run to the left side, him and John running our left guard, they get their job done. We run to the
Mhm.
right side, it's not nearly as successful. You don't have a stalwart there. And the weakest part of our offensive line is our center. John Michael Schmitz is our center, a guy we drafted a couple years ago. Really hoped he was going to be somebody. This dude's a pushover, bro. I guarantee you, whoever your backup is for Jalen Carter, whether it's Jordan Davis or not, whoever is coming
More
in for him,
Jomo.
What's his name?
Moro Ajomo.
He guarantee you he could overpower John Michael Schmitz. That's why JMS, the reason he's been bad with the Giants is because he doesn't have any power. He gets pancaked so much. And so that's the weakest point, which is sad because our main back is a power back. So you're running him up the middle most of the time, and you don't have a
Right.
center that's necessarily reliable for that. I think our running game overall, it should be the best that it's been so far in the season because we finally have the two running backs that we want to have. But I am worried because, like I said, even with Jalen Carter out, I know the talent that's on the Eagles' defensive line. I'm worried about getting past that first line of defense. If we could get past that first line of defense and just get up to the linebackers, where we can get wrapped up. I got confidence in our guys if they could get past that first line that we're gonna have good yard gains. Because both Cam Scadaboo and Tyrone Tracy, both of them are really good when it comes to avoiding tackles. But like I said, you got to get out. You got to get out the line of scrimmage first. And once you're out there, we'll see what happens.
What about your passing game with these receivers? Neighbors out. I think they said Slayton's out. Who you looking to catch the football? Who is Jackson
Listen,
Dart throwing to? 'Cause I see what Waller's on your
ooh,
team now. Oh no, Waller's not on your team.
I
Who's
swear,
the
I
tight
swear
end?
to God,
Ty
can I rant?
Johnson.
I cannot rant about my
Rant.
DN
I'll
for a
give you the
second.
stage. Rant.
This man, Joe Shane, all right, and Eagles fans, y'all don't got to care about this, but this is just a sad and angry fan right now talking. We knew that we were one Malik Neighbors injury away from being the worst wide receiving core in football. The fans knew it, the GM knew it, the head coach knew it, everybody knew it. And I don't mean we knew it this offseason. We knew it when we drafted Neighbors last year. And we basically went 2 years without getting somebody to be a legit second and somebody to even be a legit third. Darius Slayton, who he mentioned is out this game, who with a hamstring injury. I appreciate Darius Slayton for all he's done for the Giants franchise, since we drafted him. Darius Slayton is a very inconsistent dude and a very injury prone dude. Any Giants fan will tell you that you can't rely on him, and that's what he did last week. He had a fumble and a drop last week, and then he got injured in the game. And then Wan'Dale Robinson, who was the guy we drafted to be our slot guy, listen, Wan'Dale's not doing anything if he doesn't have anybody on the outside to take attention away from him. He's not anybody special. We're going to be out there starting little Jordan Humphrey, who's coming up off of our practice squad. I think Bo Collins, who last week didn't know how to run his routes, and Wan'Dale Robinson. And I don't know if we got anybody behind them. Our wide receiver group is so bad after Malik, and that falls back on the GM, man. Listen, not to get too off topic, but the GM, he's somebody that has the occasional good draft pick, but doesn't really seem to address the small parts of the team that are not the things you're thinking about. Like I can guarantee you, casual fans that are not Giants fans, like I'm talking about across the NFL, they probably saw we had Neighbors. They would think, oh, we're good. Not too many people, unless you're a Giants fan or like BIRDGANG here, you're an NFC East fan that's trying to keep up with your rivals. Not too many people would have known that if you're Malik Neighbors injury away from having a trash wide receiver core. But that's what we're gonna be throwing to, bro. We're gonna be throwing to Lil Jordan Humphrey, Bo Collins, and Wan'Dale Robinson. I will say this though, if they want to have any type of success, run a 2 tight end set. That's our only hope. Theo Johnson, who this coaching staff loves for some reason because he was an athletic freak at Penn State, I don't like him that much. And Daniel Bellinger, who I actually do like a lot. I think he's like our third or fourth year with us. Every single year since they drafted him, they try to replace him, and he's still the best tight end on our roster. I don't know what they got against the guy. He has 100% catch rate this year. He had 100% catch rate last year. The dude is the most secure hands on our team. Lean on him. Last week against the Saints, he was the sole reason we scored on our opening drive. It was Daniel Bellinger carrying the team all the way. If you want to have success in the pass game, they're going to have to go heavy set. They're going to have to go with 2 tight ends because we just don't have the manpower at receiver.
What about Hyatt? Isn't his name Hyatt? Wasn't he good for you guys?
Hey man, I don't know if I could cuss and shout. That man is
You can.
that man is a 2-pack of ass, bro. Jalen Hyatt stinks. Jalen Hyatt is bad. And I'm saying I was guilty. I was one of the dudes when we drafted him. I was excited. And to be fair, we just drafted the guy that won the Bolitnikov award, for the best receiver in college football. And I was like, oh my God, we got a steal. We got somebody. And he was supposed to be, funnily enough, Jalen Hyatt was drafted to be the replacement for Darius Slayton because they have the exact same skill set. Fast dudes that could take the top off the defense. Notice how Darius Slayton is still on the team because Jalen
Right.
Hyatt is so bad. But also, not to put too much, of the blame on Hyatt, Brian Dable, for all of the offensive guru that he is, after his rookie year where it seems like he got hired involved last year and then now this year, it's his third year, they just don't seem to throw the ball to Hyatt. They don't scheme anything up for him. So I'm like, a lot of the blame lies with the player itself, but I'm looking at what the coaching staff is doing when it comes to this scheme and when it comes to how to use him in the offense. And I'm just like, you guys are also at the same time not giving him anything to work with. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But Jalen Hyatt's a non-factor, man. He's really a non-factor, unfortunately.
Is Dart more of a pass to your tight end? Like most rookie quarterbacks, the tight end's their best friend. That's the guy, kind of the guy they can always count on to get out there. Or is he more, he's trying to hit these receivers downfield and get them going?
Based off of what we saw when Malik was there, to be fair to Dart, when he had all his weapons, and also what I know off of him in college, he is somebody that likes to air it out. But based off of what we have currently, if he wants to be not making rookie mistakes, he's gonna have to rely on his tight ends because those are gonna be our most reliable receivers this game. They're gonna have to go all to the tight ends.
What about your linebackers? How that looking? Saquon's back in the house. What I'm saying? They had their meeting between the elites of the Philadelphia Eagles, Saquon, AJ, and Jalen. They're coming out here hopefully to get this, offense right. Because like I said in the title, it's like Eagles offense must wake up this week.
Yeah.
Do you think your linebackers or your secondaries are ready and up for the task? And who you think are some key players to watch out for?
If we had Micah McFadden, I would say I had faith. Micah McFadden is our best middle linebacker. He's one of the few guys Joe Shane drafted that's been an absolute steal. A guy coming out of the 6th round that's been really, really good for us. He had a damn near Pro Bowl level season last year. Micah McFadden is unfortunately injured. Next to him is Bobby Okereke, who we got from the Indianapolis Colts. And Okereke, he's been as consistent as you can be. He's consistently leading our team in tackles. He's really good against the run. He's had a little bit of a down year this year, but I think he's had a little bit of a down year because he doesn't have the guy next to him. He doesn't have Micah next to him. That affects, everybody's stats. We've been struggling to figure out who to have in backup of Micah. Similar to the wide receiver position. That's just me going back saying, Joe Shane, you're a bad general manager. You didn't have anybody, worthy to come up next to him. We had a guy named Swayze Bozeman. What a name that is. Swayze Bozeman. I never heard this dude in my life before. We had him there. And then today we called up a former Texans player off of the practice squad not too long ago. I'm forgetting his name. I'll pull it up for you right now though, because I had it saved in my bookmarks here. If I could go through. His name was like Devin something. If I can't find it, it's fine. But like we called up some dude off the practice squad to be next to him. And I don't know too much about him because he's up off the practice squad and he's from another team. He's from the Texans, I believe. So I'm not sure where his strengths lie, whether it's in the run or in the pass. But our linebacking core, it's injured right now. We got one dude. It's going to be kind of hard to rely on just one dude to stop the run or to stop the pass. And then in our secondary, we had two big free agent signings, Javon Holland, Paulson Adebo. Javon Holland's been all right. Paulson Adebo's been all right to not so good. I don't even put the blame on them. I put the blame on our defensive coordinator because these guys, when in their old systems where they're successful, it was a very aggressive defense. Our defensive coordinator is not aggressive at all. He plays a lot of prevent defense. He plays a lot of like 10 yards off the receiver and stuff like that. And I don't know, the saying, man, the only thing prevent defense prevents you from doing is winning. That's all it does. And yeah, he's a big fan of it. We have one of the most talented front fours in the NFL. I don't know if you knew this was a stat. Throughout the first 3 weeks, they were only on the field together for like less than 10% of the plays. Are you serious?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, are you serious? When we finally won against the Chargers week 4, they were on the field for like over 60% of the plays. It's like, oh, wow, common sense finally hit. You have your 4 most talented rushers on the field at the same time, and they're gonna work some magic. And also, obviously, you get to the quarterback faster, your secondary is gonna thank you that they had their best game. And then we go against the Saints, and it's like he fell back against in his old habits. So like our secondary has talent at least with 2 players, and unfortunately our linebacking core is injured, but it doesn't come down to the players. I'm worried because of our defensive coordinator. I don't know what kind of game plan he's going to come up with. He's been very inconsistent so far. If he gets Dexter Lawrence, Kayvon Thibodeau, Brian Burns, and Abdul Carter, if he gets them on the field more than 60% of the time, at least together, then we, I think, have a good chance of stopping the run because Kayvon Thibodeau has had his best year so far as an NFL player. A lot of that has to do with his run stopping ability. Dexter Lawrence, everybody in the NFL knows what he can do. They're going to help out a lot to help with the injured linebacking core. And then Paulson Adebo, who's a good tackling corner, he can hopefully help out as well. There is one guy though that Eagles fans, y'all might know his name by the end of this game, and it's not because he's gonna like do anything good. It's because he's probably gonna get cooked. That's our safety, Tyler Nubin. He's the worst tackling safety I've seen in my life. Second round pick, absolute waste of a pick. We'll see how he does. Y'all might see Saquon break a long one because Tyler Nubin is coming at the wrong angle at him and can't even reach him. So we'll see what happens.
What do you think is what is your biggest concerns in terms of this offense coming in? Do you think what you've seen so far from this Eagles offense that even with your downfalls with the defense or whatnot, you guys didn't really get because the Chargers got a good offense. You know what I'm saying?
They
They got
do.
a good offense. Herbert was a slinging the rock. You got Johnston, you got Allen, you got all of them cats over there doing a good job. So it's like they got a couple of running backs. I know that the last two running backs, went out for injury. Hampton, I don't know if he went your game or not.
No,
But you
Hampton
guys
played in
did.
our game, so we did a good job against Hampton. He really just had one big run, but other than that, the defense did a good job because, like I said, they actually got the four players that need to be on the field. So how I feel about, I'm sorry, what was the question? How I feel about stopping what specifically?
Yeah, just like our offense, the way we've been playing. You know how if you look at what we've been doing, like we had
Hmm.
Saquon had 6 carries last game. Look at these type of runs. Our offensive line's in shambles. He had one good run to the outside, which we played the Denver Broncos. We should have been running the whole damn game. Especially when we're up by 17 points. We should have definitely been running, but we only had 6 runs, none in the second half except for one. And we keep trying to run them up in this gut when we have both of our, Landon Dickerson's hurt. Cam Jurgens hurt. Lane Johnson been out 2 of the 3 games. Hold on one second. My dog getting mad. My girl got home, so he going a little crazy. But you know, we got the running game's really hurting on that left side, the interior left side. But we keep when we do run the ball, that's what we're running the football to, and that's that's not a good game plan for nobody. There's no reason why you got these 3 stars and our offense looking so bad. We're 31st or 30th in the league, and pretty much both statistical categories that are major for offense right now. The only thing that we're good at offense is red zone. What I'm saying? We are perfect or damn near perfect 90% or something like that in the red zone. So he's able to do that, pretty well in terms of being a new offensive coordinator, KP. But in terms of like getting the ball there, it just seems like it's been a constant struggle all year long. And even the teams like you look at the Broncos, you look at every team. There's either we're up big and they come back and we win, or we're up big, they come back and they win. In terms of
Yeah.
Broncos categories. So
So yeah, I mean, I know that the Eagles, it's been the talk of media. Media loves to focus on a lot of negative stuff. That's just how it goes. I know the talk of the media has been more specifically with y'all's passing offense, and I feel like last game, like I said, obviously I'm not an Eagles fan, but as an outsider looking in, I was like, I feel like this is a game for all the Eagles fans that were demanding them throw the ball more. I was like, well, what happened? They threw the ball a lot this game and nothing.
is that what you wanted to
So,
see?
like nothing good came out of it. So
Yeah.
I'm hoping they do that again. I'm hoping they try to throw the ball a whole bunch of times again because I feel like anybody, like, not to sound disrespectful, if you got common sense, you look at the Eagles last year and this year, Saquon is the engine of that offense. If you're not running the ball a lot, I feel like the offense is not gonna go. And I feel like, maybe I'm wrong here. I feel like that Broncos game was the perfect thing to show that to anybody that disagreed with that opinion. Um, in terms of how I feel with stopping you guys, it's good to know that Cam Jurgens and Landon Dickinson is out. But once again, going back to Saquon, he's a special player. He can bounce it outside just fine. But obviously, that depends on what type of scheme you guys run, what type of run scheme you run. I don't know if you guys do a lot of outside runs or not. You said you go to the left a lot. Um, there's ways to get Saquon Barkley involved with the run game. He's not hard as an offensive coordinator to get him involved. But if your offensive coordinator is somebody incompetent, which just from the outside looking in, I've been seeing a lot of Eagles fans saying that. We'll see how true that is. If there's any game that the Eagles, should not have trouble running the ball against is the Giants because our run defense is not good because all the things I said before, we're injured the way our defenses ran. We have the talent, it's just not being utilized on the defensive side of the ball. If they struggle against here, then I'm gonna believe everything that Eagles fans are saying with, oh my God, whoever, I think his name is Kevin Patullo, right? Or am I
Yeah,
mistaken?
KP.
Then I'm gonna believe what Eagles fans are saying with, oh my God, this offense is doomed. Because until I'm gonna keep it real with y'all, until proven otherwise, you're still the defending champions. I don't
Yeah.
want to see any Eagles fans complaining.
That's why
Y'all have
everybody's
one
like really
show
hating, and
the
I wasn't even tripping. I'm like, guys, we're
yeah.
the last of the unbeaten teams. Us and the Bills, we both lost last weekend. So that means everybody else in the NFL done lost 1 or 2 games already. So what? We just lost our first one. It's not the end of the world. No one said we're going to be undefeated throughout this whole thing. The Broncos is a good young team, up and coming team. So I wasn't really
Mm-hmm.
tripping off of it. Like what you said, like we play better when Jalen throws the ball between 18 and 25 times. Anything over
Mm-hmm.
that, it's like we're doing too much. We're not running the ball enough. Those are the games where teams come back and bites us in the ass. You know what I'm saying? And the only thing I do give to KP's credit is the fact that our offensive line isn't healthy. So we don't like people underestimate the Mekhi Becton loss. You know what I'm saying? Like we
Mm-hmm.
should have re-signed Mekhi Becton. I know he wanted to start and get this big contract or whatnot, but he was making a lot of those holes when Saquon was running those 70 yards runs last year. You know what I'm saying?
You guys were the team that fixed them too. So I definitely thought you were gonna lock him up because it's like, all right, we got this guy right. Gonna keep him.
And then the injuries to, Jergy and Landon, like those injuries are like the same injuries that we had at the end of the season last year. You got to realize we had a short offseason. We won a Super Bowl. If they had these injuries, I think it was like the first playoff game, last game of the season that they did play, all the way through the playoffs where they're gutting it out throughout the whole time to win a Super Bowl, come into the offseason, have these surgeries. Now you're like sitting there trying to push him back. Like Landon shouldn't even started the season. He should have been on
Mm-hmm.
PUP list 4 games, not playing him. Let him get completely healed. He's too good of a player. Now you rushed him back. He having one of his worst career, seasons ever in his whole career. His
Yeah.
his passing rankings are low. His run rankings are low. He's just not healthy. And like
I
now
don't
you
get
look
why
at
teams do that to players. So many teams they rush players back, and it's like, especially if it's a player that's that integral to your team, you would think common sense would prevail, and they're like, no, we're giving him all the team he needs. Not all the team, all the
Mhm.
time he needs. You look at I mentioned earlier Andrew Thomas. Andrew Thomas was injured for most of last year, and Giants fans were complaining because he didn't come back at the beginning of the season. His first game back was the Chargers game. And they were like, "Oh my God, this dude's always injured. Why is he taking so long to recover?" And some of the dumber Giants fans were like, "Yeah, we should trade him because he's injured so much." I'm like, he is a
Mhm.
star left tackle. Give him as much time as he needs. Y'all are not thinking long term. You're not thinking about how this injury could be affecting him. And like I said, since he's come back because he got that extra time, if he was rushed back, I guarantee you he wouldn't be performing as good. He got that extra time, and he's been so perfect on that side. I don't get why teams do that across the NFL. You see it all the time. They rush players back, and it's like, yo, some of these players, they know their bodies better than anybody. Let them take
Yeah.
the time they need and let them come back.
And that's the thing with Landon. He's one of those guys that's gonna, if his leg is falling off, he's gonna want to play type thing. So it's probably not 100% just the egos. It's like Landon probably wanting to play too, not want to let his team down. But you're letting your team down when you're playing hurt. Even like
Exactly.
Jalen Carter playing hurt with his shoulder. Now you to injure something else because you're kind of compensate from another injury, and it causes other injuries to come. No one thinks about that, and that is something big. Like it's early in the seasons, and when you got these kind of players is when you want to sit them. You know what I'm saying? Who cares if we take a L 1 or 2 in the beginning of the season? You're not supposed to be playing your best football in the beginning anyway. If they're 100, I'd rather have a 75, 90%, Landon Dickerson, Jurgi, Lane Johnson than having, freaking a 15 to 30%, out there just to be out there with, with the name on the back of your jersey type player out there that's not really making an
Yeah.
impact on the offensive line. We're not the best line like we always been in football right now. I think they rank us third, but at the end of the day, we watch as Eagle with our eyes, and the eye test says these guys are not playing good football. Saquon had over 100-something yards after, without being touched after the line of scrimmage. And this year, I think it was like a 6-point average after the line of scrimmage, And this
Yeah.
year, he don't have like a 3-point yard. So looking kind of more like what he did with you guys.
So I know you said you had the most success running it to the left. That doesn't necessarily mean running it to any part else was bad. So tell me about what it's been like when you run up the middle and run to the right.
Well, that's what I mean. Like we last year with Becton, we ran to the right a lot, behind
Yeah.
him and Lane Johnson. Steen is good. He's a capable starting guard, but he's not as big as Becton. He doesn't clear holes like Becton did. You know what I'm saying? That's a huge difference. I'm almost at a point where I'd rather get Fred Johnson that we just picked back up as a tackle and do exactly what you did with Bacon and move him into guard. You know what I'm saying? So maybe have your bigger guard in there because I think it worked better for everybody. You know what I'm saying? That bigger body in the middle. You want your biggest guy, Landon Dickerson, like 350. You want those bigger guys. So in terms of like up the middle, to like you said on the you seen on that chart, up the middle to the left, slightly to the left. Outsides are good because you got your star tackles out there. You still got Lane Johnson. You still got Mailata. They're out there doing their damn job. It's the inside. So it's not really mattering too much where. It's just like Sting does a little bit better than a hurt Landon Dickerson right now. But when it's your center and your left guard, it's like that's kind of like the whole thing is messed up a little bit.
Yeah.
The whole thing's not
I
working.
think.
And they're not like
Yeah.
they're not like,
Yeah,
oh,
go
you
ahead.
gotta bench these guys right now. But with your eye test, you see Jalen's getting more pressure than he ever did. Last week we had 6 sacks, you know what I'm saying? And it came from Landon Dickerson's side too. And like usually Landon don't give up sacks. He was an all pro, you know what I'm saying? So you can tell that there is something wrong with him and Jergy out there right now. So
Yeah, like just what I'm thinking about the personnel we have and the way we use it going up against the injured Eagles line. I think we would have the best success if you guys were to run it basically up the middle, which is a weird thing for me to say, but hear me out. The reason I say that, the only basically proven run defender that we have up the middle is Dexter Lawrence. We've been trying to find another defensive tackle,
who's like the
next
best?
to him for a while. Yeah, but he's just one guy. That's the thing, right? If you double team him, the guys that we have next to him, the best looking one out of the group is a rookie. So you have to temper your expectations with a rookie. You would hope that he could tackle Saquon Barkley, which is easier said than done. But even with all that said, I still think from the Giants' standpoint, we would want them to run up the middle because running on the outside now, if they get past that initial thing, that's when you really rely more on linebackers and safeties. And like I said before, when it comes to angles and tackling, that's been a weak point for this Giants defense. So I would, if I'm the Eagles and you want to have success, I would say continue running to the left because it's
Mhm.
more towards the outside or even bounce it out to the right sometimes. That's how you're going to have success. But if we can stop the run up the middle, I think that is where the Giants would have to look to do when it comes to stopping the run game. And then obviously, as you said, the way to beat the Eagles, you got to force them to pass a lot. Got to stop the run in order to do that. That's what it comes
And
down
see the
to. And I
thing to
mean,
that is too, what the
yeah.
Eagles fans don't understand is we need to be like the Lions, the Rams,
Oh, that's a
pass the
good.
ball to
That's a no. The
whoever.
Lions are a great. That's a great one to bring up. That's a great one. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I'm just adding on to what you're saying. That's a great team to bring up that you guys need to be like.
Because we have the talent level, and when you're just focusing on Devontae, AJ, Goddard, and Saquon, that's it. Like, why do you have a Mechie? Why do you have a Dawson? You know what I'm saying? Why do you have AJ Dillon over there? You know what I'm saying? Like, if you got these other weapons, you have to be good enough to use all of them in the game plan. You know what I'm saying? Don't care. Don't have Jalen worried about the media saying, oh, you're not giving the ball to AJ, you're not giving the ball to this person, that person. Go out there and pull like a Carson Wentz did that year when he acted like he didn't have a number one receiver, you know what I'm saying? And he had like 5 receivers for 500 yards, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
One of those type seasons where you're not really worried about, oh, I got to get AJ. Yeah, you're going to get AJ's ball too, but like go into it scheming up everybody. That will make our team more dangerous in the long run, you know what I'm saying? If all you got to stop at 3 players compared to stopping 6 players, you throw Mechie in there, have him getting his yards, have everybody do a little bit of damage. You can never key on one aspect and stay balanced. And that is how the Eagles can dominate any football team. Because like you said, we're the most talented team in football, on both sides of the ball. Like we need to play like that. And when you're trying to, it's like you're dumbing down our offense to try to make something happen when you need to be expanding it out a little bit
Yeah.
more than what
Yeah.
you got. Because the more targets you're worried about, the more stress you put on the defensive coordinator.
What I call it is don't let the fans coach the team.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
out there
exactly
again.
what's happening with KP.
Exactly. I'm outside looking in, but from the outside looking in, you look at last week, you're like, oh, they let the fans coach the team last week. That's what happened. You guys were undefeated, and then all of a sudden your game plan completely changes for more or less you be an undefeated team. Of course, it's not going to work out. To get back to the topic at hand, though, like yeah, like if the Giants want to have success on the defense side of the ball, they're going to have to stop the run and force the pass. Do I think we can do it? Yes, because of what we did against the Chargers. You brought up the Chargers. The line is one of the better ones. And people, they bring up, oh, they had the injury. Joe Alt was still one of the best left tackles in the league, and he played that game. He went out late in that game. So for most of the game, the Giants were holding their own against what is a good Chargers offensive line. And the Chargers have talented running backs. We stopped them there. We should be able to do it again. It comes down to not a matter if we can. It comes down to our coaching. If our coaching is good, we can stop the run. I think this is a game, honestly, that's unfortunately going to lie on the shoulders of our rookie quarterback. You never want there to be a lot of pressure on your rookie quarterback, but that's where it is. That's where it is at for the Giants. I think our defense should be fine, depending on coaching. But I think the real crux is going to be how does Jackson Dart, as a rookie in his first primetime game, how does he come out and how does he show out? That's what it's going to be.
So on offense, you're saying Jackson Dart needs to come up and show out. Give me three impact players. If the Giants were to have a great game and do this thing with Jackson Dart,
Yeah,
who you think would be the three biggest impact players that
yeah.
people are looking for?
I feel like the first one, the most obvious one, probably a cop-out answer, but I'll say Jackson Dart as the first one. He is the quarterback. He is the most important person on the offensive side of the ball. We saw what he can do when he's not making mistakes, which is 50-50 for a rookie. But when he's not making mistakes, he's really poised in the pocket. The Eagles, even with injuries, good defensive line, like I said before, he's going to need to bring that poise back. I can't believe I'm saying this. The Saints rattled him. The Chargers didn't rattle him, but the Saints rattled him. If he's really good when the pocket breaks down at deciding when to run out the pocket versus when to scramble for the first down. He's been really good with that. He's been really good at maneuvering in the pocket. That's what he needs to bring. If he brings that back, I feel like you can minimize your mistakes. And it all comes back to footwork as well. If you got your footwork down, you minimize your mistakes, you minimize the errant throws. That's where it is for Jackson Dart. Playmaker number 2 is going to be Daniel Bellinger. I mentioned him earlier. He's a tight end that's been on the team for about 3 or 4 years now. And for whatever reason, Brian Dable's been trying to replace this man every year. And every time he brings in a replacement, Daniel Bellinger's just been better than the other guy. He's going to be playmaker number 2. Get the ball to your best tight end. They love Theo Johnson, the guy that they have ahead of him, just because he's like a huge guy and he's super athletic. But Daniel Bellinger doesn't drop a pass. Like I said, for the past 2 years, he hasn't dropped a single pass. He's been 100% on his catches. Get him the ball. Playmaker number 3, it's a little bit of a tough one because we don't got too many wide receivers. Then you look at the running backs, and it's like, I'm gonna go a little bit. I guess, off script here. I'll just say the offensive line. The offensive line as a whole. That's who we're gonna need. They're gonna need to protect the quarterback. They're gonna need to open up holes in the run game. That's not just on the left side. Similar to you guys, actually. Now that I think about it, our best running plays, our best direction with running has been towards the left side of our line. It can't be that. It has to be more spread out, more diverse when it comes to running the ball. Up the middle, John Michael Schmitz, please have a serviceable game. That's going to be the 3 most important players here.
All right, what about on that defensive side? If this defense is going to stop this high power octane defense, because you had the defensive player of the year last year, Pat Surtain, locking down AJ. You know what I'm saying? You had a nice defense over there to really put some disruption on the Eagles last week. Who do you think are those players, those key 3 players on defense will be?
In terms of key 3 players, I'm gonna go Brian Burns, who's been having. Speaking of defensive player of the year, you look at the stats he's been putting up. He's been having a defensive player of the year caliber type of a year so far. He's, I think, top 10 or top 5 in the league in pressures, and I think he's top 5 in sacks so far. He's been playing out of his mind. He was injured last year, and it seems like people, a player gets injured, they don't do well. It seems like people forget who they are. He's always been a great player in this league. Playmaker number 2 is going to be Dexter Lawrence up the middle because like I said, he's our best run defender, and he's about our only run defender up the middle. And that's what I'm going to need him to call upon. I'm also going to need him. He's been injured as well. He hasn't had, like this time last year, I think he already racked up 4 or 5 sacks. He has not had those numbers this year because he has like an elbow injury or something. Dexter, I need you to lock in. I need you to come back healthy. We need you more than ever now to have the type of game you would have had last year. Player number 3, we don't got any corners, bro. I'm going to be real with you. I don't know if we got anybody that could really, man up, man to man on AJ Brown like that. But I'm gonna go this slot corner because every single game of the year so far, every team has targeted him. They have been purposely targeting him because like they feel like he's the guy that's easiest to beat is going to be Drew Phillips. And Drew Phillips is somebody you flip a coin, you could either have a great game out of him or you have a bad game out of him. I don't know if this stat still holds true, but going into last week, he had the most passes deflected in the NFL. Good stat. But also, there was the game against the Chiefs a couple weeks ago where Patrick Mahomes targeted him to no end, and on his head top, Taquan Thornton had 2 straight deep passes for a touchdown. So like I said,
Ooh.
it's like a flip of a coin. He's either gonna give you something really good and surprise you because not too many people knows his name, or he's gonna get burnt. But that's what it is.
All right, all right. So now, we're gonna get out of here. We got the game coming up here shortly. Give me 3 hot takes for the game, and then a score prediction.
All right. I don't know if this is a hot take. At least not in the Giants community. It's not a hot take, but this is the funeral game. That's my first hot
Ooh,
take.
I
This
like
is
it.
the game. This is the game that is gonna see if we lose really, really bad. I think come Friday, this regime is finally gone. They should have been gone last year. We had literally the worst year, in terms of win-loss percentage in Giants history. And John Mara somehow said, I'm gonna keep the head coach and general manager. But this might be the game. Because you also think about the outside factors, man. Once again, it's another Saquon homecoming game. Like I said,
Yes.
Amazon Prime is banking on it because they're releasing a documentary right before the game. You know it's going to be a major talking point on the broadcast. It's always a major talking point on the broadcast, but now with the documentary, they're going to like up the ante even more. John Mara is a very insecure owner. That's the best way to put it. He lets these things get to his head. So this could be the funeral game. That's my first hot take. The second hot take is that I'm gonna say this could be the Jackson Dart game. And like I said, hot takes are not supposed to be things that make necessarily sense, right? That's why it's called a
Yeah.
hot take.
Yeah.
He's a rookie, but I'm like, if he can go out there against the defending Super Bowl champs, a team that yes is injured but still has so much talent in the NFL, if he
Mhm.
can hold his own and really show out, I'm gonna label it as the Jackson Dart game.
Nice.
Hot take number 3, I'm gonna say this is the game that Abdul Carter gets his first sack, which might be a surprise to some people. Abu Carter only has half a sack on the year so far, but he's first in the league in QB pressures, and the guy that's second has half of the amount of QB pressures that he has. He's been
Do they move
very
him back?
unlucky.
Do they switch him side to side, or is he on one side more than the other?
He's usually on the weak side, but I've seen him. He's usually on the weak side, but they move him around. They even have him playing middle linebacker sometimes because, like I said, we're injured there, and like he's athletic enough to play it. But like he leads the league in pressures, but has no sacks. It's just because every time he's had a sack, it's actually been called as like an intentional grounding, or they call it as like the QB ran, and then like so he was outside the pocket, so it wasn't actually counted as a sack. My hot take is he finally gets it. I'll be very surprised if he goes another game without a sack, but continues to rack up these QB pressures and QB hits. It's kind of funny to look at actually. Score prediction, I do think it's gonna be a lower scoring game than some Giants fans think, because I do recognize the Eagles' struggles on offense. I'm gonna say I'm gonna say 24-13. I think that's what I'm saying.
And who wins?
Don't make me say it, bro.
Say it. Say it with your
I'm
chest.
not sa- I'm not
Say it with
saying
your chest,
nothing.
bro.
I just gave you a score prediction. All
But we
right.
gotta know who won the score prediction. That's just a score.
You know what? Just because of that, bro. Just because of that, Giants win 10-7, bro. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm
Oh,
joking. No, I
10 to
think
7 game. Hey, if our
I
offense
think
plays
yeah,
like this, if y'all come out to
yeah.
play and our offense play like they've been playing the last couple of weeks, that is definitely a realistic possibility. Like,
Listen,
and
that's a
I
Giants
hate
fan in me
saying it, but
talking.
we've been scoring like 17
Yeah.
in the first half, or so 17 in the second half. But and for real, like how many weeks can you continue to do it? I'm saying teams are getting more and more of shutting it down than they are letting loose on it. So if you
Yeah.
guys do come out like that, like that's not gonna be my score prediction, but what I'm saying
Oh
that
no, I'm
would
gonna give my
be.
real score. I'm gonna give my real score prediction right now. My heart of hearts, I wish it's 10-7 Giants. But honestly, yeah, like I'm gonna go back to that 24-13, 24-13 Eagles. Hurts me to say it. Despite all the things you guys are facing right now, you're still the better team. like I said, I'm glad you actually agree with me when I said earlier. I feel like a lot of fans, at least Eagles fans I see online complaining, I'm like, they don't realize how good their team is, like in actuality. And that pisses me off a little bit because I'm like, you guys are not a bad team. You need to get over yourselves a little bit. You guys are very talented. You have a really good coaching staff. Can't speak for the offensive side of the ball. Like truly, that does seem to be struggling, at least when it comes to offensive coaching. But everywhere else, pretty good coaching. And the fact of the matter remains that the talent gap between the Giants and Eagles still remains to be really big. And I literally just said as one of my hot takes is the funeral game. I'm expecting my GM and head coach to not be my GM and head coach for much longer. So 24-13 Eagles, yeah.
All right, he came out and said it. Hey, shout out for the $5 super chat. He said, "My boy Hub is tripping."
I was joking.
Yeah,
I was joking,
he
y'all.
was just joking. He went you with salute for that. Shout out to that $5 super chat. All y'all guys hit that like, hit that subscribe. If you're not subscribed to the Hub, make sure you guys go hit him up. You know, great, Giants content over there, man. I'm gonna give my 3 hot takes. My first hot take is Saquon's homecoming, and I think Saquon will finally break the streak of no, 100-yard games. He's gonna get a $150 minimum.
Has
2
he really
touchdowns.
not had a 100-yard game so far?
No, not yet. No.
I'm really surprised to hear that.
Yeah, me too.
Genuinely.
Me too, for
Wow.
real, for real. Like that's horrible
Yeah.
and that's crazy. But 2 touchdowns over 100, a $150. And then I would have to say, what up, Twiz? The receiving game, because I'm not even gonna say it's gonna be AJ or Smitty per se. What I will
Dallas?
say, no, Goodell's been doing this thing, so it's not like he'll
Okay.
be anything. It'd be like the receiving game as a whole. You're gonna see him open it up at a way it hasn't been seen all season long. You know what I'm saying? There's gonna be another 280 to 300-yard passing game, but it's not gonna be Devontae 114. It's gonna be
He's gonna
someone.
spread it out.
He's gonna spread it out. It's gonna be someone unpredictable that's gonna go do it and make a big play. Maybe it's gonna be the Dotson game or the Mechie come out of the Woodworth game. But it's gonna be a game where the pass game looks great. It's gonna be spread out, and it's gonna be really, really nice to see. We're gonna feel more comfortable about our football team after that. So it's gonna be the wake up game.
Hey, like I said, the guy to keep an eye on that quarterback seem to want to target is Drew Phillips. So whoever Drew Phillips is on, Jalen Hurts might just throw to him. I don't know why. They've been targeting him all year. So look for that guy. 22 on defense. They're gonna be targeting him. I just have a feeling.
And this is gonna be the third hot take. It's gonna be the body bag game 3 for Jackson Dart. We're gonna get him from all angles without JC. You guys are gonna feel comfortable, I feel like. And it's gonna be Jordan Davis with a couple sacks. It's gonna be Ojulari's coming back to the Giants to let you guys know you shouldn't have let him go to the champs. He's gonna be out there making
Aziz is one of
havoc.
my favorite players, man.
Jalen Hurts
is
gonna
one of
be
my
out
favorite
there,
players.
and the Eagles gonna get. I say, because 6 sacks is like a good football game. I'm gonna say it's 8 sacks on Jackson Dart.
Ooh, that's 100% a hot take. I'm gonna have to disagree with that.
That's 8 sacks.
That's the one I'm gonna disagree with so far. Because Saquon, as much as he's the enemy now, he could definitely go for a $150, 2 touchdowns. 8 sacks is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
For them to have 8 sacks, the Giants' O-line is really good. They're gonna have their worst game of the year. Because like I said, they've been top 10 in pass protection so far. But if there's any game to have the worst game of the year, we have not been good on primetime since 2015. Wow, 10 years now. Jesus, I just realized that. It's been 10 years since we've been good on primetime. We've been just an unlucky team on primetime. But I'm gonna disagree on the principle that so far this year they've been a good pass protecting unit.
And then my score prediction is the Eagles are going to win. They've been giving up like 17. Let's go. 38-17 Birds.
Ooh, 38. What's the highest scoring game you guys have had so far?
I think 40.
Was that against Dallas?
Either that or
was that?
I'm not sure which game was, but I know we've been getting in the 30s to the 40s, for most of these games, it feels like. You know what I'm saying? Like even last game, what we had 28 or 23, 24. So I think that it's going to be one of them 38-17 games. And
38-17. I don't know if you're gonna get to 30 because I'm looking here. The highest scoring game you guys have so far is 33 against the Rams.
Yeah, the
So,
Rams.
And I'm just like, that
It's
was a
the
shootout to me
Giants.
today.
Come on, huh? Don't act like you're the
It is the
Rams. Don't
Giants.
act like you're the
Listen,
Chiefs. Don't
I
act
agree,
like the
but
Tampa Bay.
you
Don't
only put
act
up
like
24 against the Cowboys. The Cowboys have a worse defense than we do. You only put up 24 against them. So 38 is kind of crazy. We have a better defense than the Cowboys. If you said
no,
like
don't have a better
27,
offense.
which is still more than you put up against the Cowboys, I've been like, all right, okay, 38. That's damn near twice as much you put up against
You
the
gotta
Cowboys.
realize the offense we're putting the points up. You know, we should get the ball a lot more than we did the Cowboys game back to. But like I said, you guys went toe to toe with the Cowboys, putting up some huge numbers that game too. So you know, we're gonna see what it is.
But
That's
that
why
was
it's
also
hard
when we
to make
had neighbors.
more predictions. And
Yeah.
But hey, man, thanks again, Hub, for coming by, sharing your wisdom with us, man. Let everybody know where they can follow you at. If you got anything big coming up, you know, let everybody know before we get out of here.
Hey, man, thank you once again for having me on, man. It's always great. It's a great time talking with you. Shout out to everybody in the chat. You can find me right here, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter. That's where I'm at. I'm really active on Twitter. I'm really a fans fan. I try to stay in touch with the casual fans. Every now and then I get a little bit with the analytics, but the whole point of my channel, if you want to check it out, is to be just a fan that has a camera. That's about it. Thank you so much for having me on, man. It's been great.
No problem, my guy. And we're going to give a shout out to Lust. Go check out Lust. Go hit that subscribe on this channel. The Eagles rapper from Philly. You know, he brought you winning a couple of months ago. That's already in the thousands. You know what I'm saying? He has Go Birds. He has Fly Eagles Fly. Go make sure you hit him up because he made me an awesome new intro. And we're going to end off with the intro, man. So Fly Eagles Fly. Let's get that W today. And Go Birds. Here we go.
How about our quarterback? How about our quarterback? I'm your quarterback. He's a stud. He is a stud. I knew he was going to play that way. I knew it. Don't doubt him. All he does
I'm
is win.
BIRDGANG 31 and I'm fly like an eagle. Hit him low, hit him high like the Eagles. Catch me on a podcast and we only talking Eagles. Dallas still sucks and ain't nothing like the Eagles. I'm one O-line. Jalen Hurts top 5. Run it like Saquon. Like I'm down Queen.